Okay, super. So, yeah, just a recap on what we started the other Thursday and Friday we were doing this. So we started with the core concept of how Java is going to talk with the database, the Java database connectivity. So we spoke about scenarios, the analogy of how it works, and then what happened? Okay. So then we spoke about how technically how do we achieve this. The step one is loading the driver class. Step two is creating the connection using the server IP address, port, and username and password. Third is creating a connection, the statement, and then sending or executing the statements. Finally, we retrieve the result set and we can use the result set. So these are the technical steps which we need to follow. And going to the program now, we recreated these 5 steps in the program. So the first step was to load the class, which is done using class.forName. So that is step 1. Step 2 is getting the connection. So step 2. Third is from the connection, we create the statement. And fourth is we execute the statement. Step 4 and step 5 are included in the same line. 4 is we execute the statement. And 5th is we retrieve the result set. And 6th, we are using the result set. So these are the technical point of how to implement the JDBC connectivity. We will continue some more examples today on the JDBC connectivity. Hello, anyone had a question? Did anyone have a question? I heard some voice.
No, you can go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the query I took that day was select star from user. Once again, I'll execute this and show you. So when we execute the first step, it is okay. I'll execute step by step. I'll debug and show you. So debug the main program. So we are in after executing. Okay. So we see the connection object. The connection object has the IP address, the port, the password, the username. The statement will have the actual query which we are sending in. The query is there in the select query. The result set will contain the data which is retrieved. So once the result set is retrieved, we iterate the result set. I said dot next pushes the result set to the first row. So you can imagine this result set as a Excel grid which is coming up. So imagine that the first, whenever the Excel data is coming up, Excel rows and columns, the first row is going to be in -1, which is above the actual first row. So once we do this next, it is going to enter into the first row. Then we start receiving the values. Automatically, this will continue while rs.next until we have a row. This will proceed and we will be getting the values. Let us take one more query now. Which is a query using join. So I showed about left join and right join. Let us write that query and try to execute that. So select star from user U, left join T002 address on U dot user ID equal to A dot user ID. So here we get an empty row for a username. Not this one. This is the data itself is empty. Let the query finish. Okay, we got it. So since it is a left join, the left table user is kept fixed. All the records in the user has come up. If there are any matching records in the address, that is pulled in. Otherwise, it would pull up an empty row, that is null value. Now let's take up this query. I'll trim these characters. These are not going to execute. So I am going to replace the query. Let me go to Java perspective. Okay. Instead of this query, I paste it here.
Rajesh, I'm sorry, we are hearing a lot of background noise here.
I'm sorry, what is that?
We are hearing a lot of background noise.
Oh, 1 second. Let me switch over the microphone.
అప్పుడు వచ్చింది నాకు ఇదా ఇది అంత H1 కానీ H1 ఇది కాదు రాలేదు ఇది OPT కదా ఎప్పుడు కల్లా వస్తుంది ముందే సబ్మిట్ చేయాలా మనం
How about now? Is it better?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I have taken that query. I have pasted it here. So it is a query with joins, left join particularly. Let me see. Okay, so still it is working, and I'm having a star here. So if I see, the actual query is returning me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns, out of which I am taking the 3 columns. So if I'm going to take the other 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I take the other 3 columns, I'll be getting the address ID, address, and the user ID column. Let me try that. Okay, so I have taken the 6 values, so I get it here. Whatever I see in that query result set from the SQL client, I retrieve the same values here. Let me just give a /t, which is a tab. This is core Java.
That means, Rajesh, just we are getting the values from the SQL and by using JDBC connections, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Now the actual connection has started. Like we were seeing the database separately, writing the queries. We were seeing Java separately. From the Java now we are hitting the database and getting the values. So now I have just given a tabbing address ID /t. Let me give one more tick here. Just wanted to show the output in a more pleasant way, in a beautiful way. That's all. So we have this. Okay, Wednesday 1. Okay, this is the address ID. Okay, so we are getting the values whatever we see in the query. This is one thing. Now I will shift this to a different view, meaning we were executing the query, which is a select query. I will want to now do an insert query, update query, because okay, select query also. I want to do a query with a parameter. I want to pass the parameter from the Java. Let us say I want to fetch only the users whose name is Sunday. So what I will do here, where u dot username equal to Sunday. Okay, now with Sunday, I'm getting 2 results only. Now the Sunday, I want to pass it from the Java program. For that,
That means we are passing for Sunday some values and we are going to retrieve only using Java.
Correct. From the Java, we will pass the value and we will. So basically this query, I want to execute from the Java, but this value also I want to pass it from the Java. For that, we have a different way of doing, that is called prepared statement. Earlier we were using statement. Instead of that, we should use prepared statement. I'll show you now. So let me write I'll copy this. I'll write a new method. Here, what is wrong? Okay. Here, instead of create statement, we need to give dot prepared statement. Dot prepared prepare. It is actually prepare connection dot prepare statement. So do this. The same query I'll do. Okay. Now in that query, I need to pass a value. So the query which I have is the same query, but there is a where condition. So I'll have to put the where condition also here. But instead of Sunday, I will be giving question mark, which means I will be passing it in the Java program. And I'll copy instead of statement here, it will be prepare statement. Now P statement dot not execute P statement dot execute query. Let us see, it should throw an error. I didn't call this method itself. Fetch Okay, so from the main program, I'm calling the fetch value for prepared statement. Let us see what happens. Okay, so there is an error because in the prepared statement, we have given the query and we are telling that I will be passing a value as question mark. Question mark means in that place, I'll be passing a value, but we have not passed any value. So this is throwing error that SQL exception, no value specified. This is equal to, when I don't pass a value, it is equal to like this. It is where username equal to empty. The query will not know what to execute. So there is an error. We have an error in the SQL corresponds to SQL 7 index 5. Okay. So this code will tell that the value is not supplied. That is what it is throwing here. No value specified for the parameter. So to specify the parameter, we have to set here before executing the query. We have to set the value to the question mark. P statement dot. You can see many methods here. Add batch, cancel. Everything has a different meaning. I'll come back and I wanted to explain few things here. I will add now set string of first question mark, meaning instead of first question mark, in the first place, you set Sunday.
Oh my goodness.
So we set here. Let us try now. So it's working. See, the same record which we saw there, the two records have come up here. So whenever you want to send a parameter to a query, you have to go for prepared statement. If your query is not having any parameter, you can go for statement. You can execute, prepared statement is not only for parameter, it is used, it is actually vice versa. You can execute query in prepared statement, but you cannot execute a question mark in a statement. So you keep it simple. Prepared statement, you use it when you want to execute a query with a parameter. The regular statement, you use it when you don't want to set a parameter. And most of the times we will be using prepared statement only, because always the query is going to be based on a user input. The user can change the date and want to execute the query and want to run the report. In our mail itself, we want to see, when we click on next, we want to see older mails. That is again an input to the query, right? Whatever we do a filter in the email, that's again a query to the input to the query. So wherever input is coming up, input is involved, you have to use the prepared statement. And this is how we set the input value. Suppose we have multiple input values. I'll take one example. So I want to filter the records which has username Sunday and address.
Rajesh, in this real-time scenario, in any project, wherever we want to update any table, this is the same thing we do, right?
Correct.
Okay.
When we want, yeah, next I'll come to update. Update involves a where condition with a primary key. So we use prepared statement.
Okay.
So with multiple question mark, after this I'll come to the update. So where username equal to Sunday and address like this. This means starting percentage, which means anything can be there in the starting, anything can be there in the ending. In the middle, there should be SER. So there's only one row which is meeting both these conditions. Username is Sunday and the address is having SER in the middle. Starting can be anything, ending can be anything. It's a like query. So if I want to give this query from Java, I just have to add this. Instead of this one, I'll give here question mark. And what I have to give here, instead of 2, SER. Now I'll run this. Okay, index out of range. Why? Okay, because there is a different way to do this. Let's try now. No, actually there's a different way. I'll tell you later on this. For now, if it is multiple question mark, then one will give the first value. In the one, we have to set the first value. In the two, we have to set the second value. There is no address like that. So I'll give address equal to address one. Address one. Address equal to ADD address space one. So we got the one row. If you're wondering like what is that percentage, I'll show you quickly on what it is. T002 address. So here we are having 1, 2, 3, 8 rows. So I want to fetch the rows which is having 2 in it. The character or the letter 2 in it. It can be anywhere. In that case, what I will do is, okay, first is if I want to fetch the value which is having address 1, I will do exact match where address equal to in double quote, which is an exact match. It has to be ADDRESS space 1. Because I have a space there, I need to give space 1. This is an exact match. Okay, this you understand. Now, if I give like without space, it is not going to bring that record because it is not an exact match, it is failing. Now, my goal is, I don't know what is there in the starting. I want to find out which is having 1 as the ending. In that case, I'll give percentage in the start place. So I don't know what is there. Then I have to give like. If I'm going to give a percentage, I have to give like. So starting whatever can be, yeah. So address 1 is having in the starting address and ending is having 1. Let's take one more. I'll change the data. Everything is address 1, so we can easily work it out. So number 10, 20, 19 street, MG road, number 1, 15th cross, road MG, road double space MG, road MG middle. Okay, so we have these things. Now I want to fetch a record which is having exact match. I want to find out the road MG. That case, let me see, first I saved this. Yes, saved. So address equal to, so this will be an exact match. But now I don't know what is there in the starting. All I want is anything which has MG in it. MG in the end, because starting I'm giving percentage. So I have to give here like. So this will fetch all the records which is having MG at the end in the address field. So this is having MG, this is having MG. If I give MG and percentage, this means MG should be the starting value and percentages, I don't care anything, whatever comes after MG. So MG. If I go like this value, this will bring me all the values which is having NG in the middle. I don't care starting and ending. It can be starting, it can be ending also, but I want all the records which is having NG. This is a use of a like operator. This is how we fetch queries using like. Any questions so far?
Yeah, I'm good, Rajesh.
Okay. Super. So the same way, when I have multiple question mark, we set the values like 1 and 2. Let me try one more also. Set string. Let us see what is the documentation says. Okay, no, it is not there. It is removed. There was one more method where we can set using a string. Now it is only using integer. The first parameter is always an integer. Okay, now let me, I said I'll show you an insert or update. Okay, so now I've written an update query, which is going to update the address table and set the value as ng updated for the primary key address ID 3. If I'm going to run this query manually, one row affected. If I go to the address table, I can see that mg updated. Now let us run this query through a prepared statement. So here I will replace that query, and we are going to have only two values now. The value which has to be updated, that is a question mark, and for which primary key we have to update, that's a question mark. So two question marks. We don't give a semicolon here. I'll say this. So the first is going to be Sunday, which means the address will be updated now as Sunday. The second should be an primary key. Here I'm giving address ID. It is going to throw an error. It is going to try cannot issue an data manipulation with execute query. Yeah, because execute query is an select. It's for fetching. For updating, it is execute update. Execute query, we can just give execute batch. I have to speak about something. The execute update. I'll do execute update. What is the change type of result set to int? Because when I do an execute update, I don't get a query as result. I only get a integer as result set. Whether it is done or not, if done, it's a primary key. So change type of result set to int. I'll remove this result set itself. I'll do one thing. Let me copy this. Okay, so I have a new method written, execute update. Execute update. And I have to just make this method as static so that I can call it. I have to do the throws. I have to do the throws. I have to change it to static. Okay, that's all. Now if I run it, the record would not have been updated because we don't have a primary key with address 1. So if I'm going to query the table, the record would be still same. By the way, let me print the result and see what it's coming. Okay, if you see 0, which means the record is not updated. So see here, see the documentation returns either 1, the row count for the SQL data manipulation language, DML, which I said, or the second is, or 2, 0 for SQL statements that return nothing. So 0 means it is not returning anything. So let me change this to 3. Since it is string, I have to set it in the double quotes. You may wonder why I am setting 3 in the double quotes. Now you see there is a 1 which is written. So which is a valid 1 row was there, so it got updated. Now if we query, we see that it is updated now, Sunday. The same way we can trigger an update, delete, drop, everything we can trigger. There is, if you go to the documentation, few things you have to notice. Okay, there are various ways of calling a prepared statement. So these are all different ways. You can go through each of these things. One thing which you should know is prepare call, which is called a callable statement. If you see here callable, this is used to call the store procedures. You cannot call a store procedures as a regular query. You have to use prepare call, which is, now I don't have permission to create a store procedure, but in case you are using store procedure, instead of connection.create statement or connection.prepare statement, you have to call connection.prepare call, and you have to give the SP name, store procedure name. That is one thing. And okay, one more thing I wanted to tell was when we call the execute update, inside the prepared statement, we have an execute batch. Somewhere it was there. Execute batch dot execute update. Here it is, execute batch. This is very important to use in a real world scenario. Let us take one example. We have a spreadsheet. You have a spreadsheet of employee database. So the client is giving you a spreadsheet with 1,000 employees. So and he is telling these 1,000 employees you have to load into the database. So now what you will do is you will take that spreadsheet, you will go each column, and you will go to the table and mark in your notes like, okay, this column from spreadsheet I have to map it into this column in the database. That is step number 1 you will do. Second step is you will match the data types. Whether in the Excel he has given the same data type, and then in the table also is it in the same data type. Third is you will match the data length. Whether in Excel he has given a very large value, in the table we would have given only 50 as the max cap, but in Excel it would have come as 100. In that case, it will not insert, it will throw a limit error. So after doing these basic validation in the spreadsheet, you will come into Java and you will start writing a program, a core Java program to open the file, and to read the file. We saw a program how to open a file and how to read a file. So you will open a file, you will read the file, then you will form the prepared statement, because you want to insert, right? So here you will give insert update. Instead of update, you will give insert into, and if you are having some 10 to 15 values, you will give those many question marks here, and after that you will give prepared statement dot set string of 1 2 3 4, like that 15 you will give. Once this is done, naturally you will be triggering prepared statement dot execute update. Even for insert, we have to call execute update. So what happens now? This works perfectly right. This won't throw any error. Everything will be good. The only drawback will be that for every row in the Excel, one insert will be happening. So for first row in the Excel, one insert. Second row, one insert. Always remember that this line is a costly line. This line, driver manager dot get connection, this is very costly. You should not call creation of connection every time, and this is costly. More than this is costly. So it is not advisable to always create a connection. That is why in servers like Tomcat, we have a connection pooling. When we deal with Spring Boot and Hibernate, we will come across this one. We have something as connection pooling, meaning all the servers, whatever servers you are working on or you may work, will have a connection pooling, meaning when the server starts, it will open up 10 or 20 or 30, depending on whatever is the configuration size. Those many connections will be opened to the database, and the server will be having it ready. And it is going to reuse the same connection to the database, because at a single microsecond, not all the users are going to hit the server. I might hit at 1 second later than like what you are hitting. So your connection can be reused for me also. Connection is, by connection I mean just the VPN tunnel kind of thing, just a tunnel in which the data goes. It doesn't mean that I can see your data. It means that I can use the same road which you are using. Once I am done, the another person will use the same road. It is same like conveyor belt which comes in the what is the airport. So a belt which comes in the airport where the luggages comes out, right? It is the same belt. Everyone's luggage comes out. Once they take it out, they load it with the next person's luggage. The same way, they don't have a belt for everyone, right? It is a single belt which is serving for all the passengers. In fact, from day one of that construction till now, there would be only one belt, which would have served like lakhs and lakhs of people. The same way, a server will, when it is going to start, will typically take a connection between 20 to 40, and that would be reused. If there is a scenario where concurrent users are hitting the database at the same time, same millisecond, all the 20 connections are taken, that is the time when the Tomcat or JBoss or whatever server you have will be talking with the database and getting 10 more connection, because getting a connection is very costly. So you should always, when you are done with your coding, when you do a code review, you should ensure that this line is not called more than once. This is very costly resource. This will consume lots of RAMs. It has to be only once in the application. It should not be more than once throughout the application. Here, if you see, I've written 3 times. It is wrong. This is not correct way. Just for training purpose, I'm showing. See here, inside this method, I'm calling. Inside this method, I'm again getting a connection. This is inside this, I'm getting a connection. The best way would be, I'll show you that also. Class.forName connection. This has to be in a separate method at the bottom. Get connection. This is how it should be, and it will be static. It is going to return a connection. So I will return here connection object. And where will I call it? I will call in the starting of the main program only once. When the main program is started, only that time I will be calling, and I will be storing my connection object equal to this. This is how you should be doing. And when you are calling any method, you have to pass that connection object to that method. Here you have to receive that connection object. Connection object. And instead of creating a connection here, class.forName, these things, you should use this connection object which is coming inside. This is the best approach. So everywhere I'll give once. Here also I have to give this. I'll get rid of this. And here also I should give this. And I should get rid of this. Super. Now if I run, it is working. See, it is able to hit the database and one has come. So this is the best approach how to handle the database. So always remember, don't create the connection only once in the complete application. Creation of connection should be there. If you have even twice, it is wrong. It will definitely cause a memory leak issue. And another thing is, if you create a statement, you have to close the statement. That will leave it open. If you create a statement at the end, let us say which one I'm calling now, update query. So I have opened the prepared statement. So after this, p statement dot close. I have to call this. So graciously, I have to close the connection, not the connection, the statement. So that is the best way of coding. So always you have to close the statements, and connections you should open only once. That has to be done at the server level. In the main program, if you are opening like this, you have to close it, connection dot close, the same way. And okay, why did I come to this story is, you have something as execute batch. That is how I started this. Okay, now where we were, the Excel file is ready. We were reading the Excel file. We got the values. We wrote the prepared statement. And now we have tweaked the application so that connection is created only once. So earlier what was happening, for every row in the Excel sheet, a connection would be created. Which means if there is a 10,000 row file, 10,000 connections you will create. I said that only 10 should be created. 10,000 will be created, and unnecessarily those many resources will be wasted, and the CPU, memory, RAM will be increasing, and suddenly the system will crash. So now we have tweaked the system, and the connection will be created once. Okay, but still 10,000 times you will be calling the prepared statement dot execute update. This loop will be running 10,000 times, which is again creation of 10,000 statements now. So what is the best way is we should not create 10,000 statements. That is why they have given something as prepared statement dot add batch. After we create a prepared statement, this prepared statement can be given only once. We have something as p statement dot add batch. Add batch. So this will add it to a batch. You see the documentation. Okay, so what they are telling, adds a set of parameter to this prepared statements batch of command. So once it adds to the batch, if we execute, so what will happen now? When you are reading 10,000 lines of files, every 500 lines or 1,000 lines or 2,000 lines, you can flush the batch. It is like you keep adding temporarily to a basket of 500. Execute batch. Where is execute? Okay. So you keep adding to a batch of 500 or 1,000. Then at a stretch, you send that 500 or 1,000 updates to the database. It is in one single statement, it will be done. So see here the documentation submits a batch of commands to the database for execution. A batch of commands to the database for execution. And if all the commands execute successfully, returns an array of update counts. The int element of the array that is returned are ordered in correspondence to the commands in the batch. That is okay. That is not needed for now. The elements in the array returned may be one of the following: the number greater than 0. Okay, these are all okay. But the one thing which you have to understand is returns is okay. It is high. Okay, only this one. It submits a batch of command to the database for execution, and if all the commands execute successfully, returns an array of update count, number of updates which were triggered successfully. So this execute batch, add batch is very important for performance tuning. Without this, if you write a program to insert an Excel sheet, it would be running for hours. But if you use batch, I'll tell one real world example. Like in one of the warehouse project which I was dealing, since it is a warehouse, means continuously the files would be coming in. The files will have at least 50,000 rows. Every Excel files or CSV files will be having 50,000 rows. So we had to write a batch for this. So that time we use the prepared statement dot add batch, and for every 2,000 lines, for every, because the batch also has a limit. You cannot add more to a batch. It will also cause a memory error. So let's say for every 1,000 or 2,000, depends on the server, we were sending it, and the file processed very smoothly. It like within 30 seconds, 30 to 40 seconds, a file of 20 MB was processing at the faster rate. So these things, I mean, knowing everything will help you out. My only like suggestion will be like, if you know something, don't restrict yourself with only that, because it is like there is a shop in the next street, and you know driving car. Not always car is needed to buy things. For next street, you don't need a car. You don't need a bike also. You can walk and go. But if the shop is far away, walking will not be efficient. You have to go in car. So you have to know why different things are there and when to use which one. That only will give you a success in your career. So just jumbling the things, don't stick on with, okay, I know this concept, that's all. For everything, I'll be using the same concept. No, that if that was the case, they wouldn't have invented lots of things, lot of methods. So my suggestion would be like, you have to go through the documentation, know every single piece of it, why it is there. So there is a reason for long batch, large batch. There is a reason for execute query without a method, without a string, with a string. So everything is there. So yeah, let's go through that. Any questions so far? Guys, it is very, see, in my place now, if you remember 1 hour, I keep on speaking past 30 days. It is very, from my side, it's very bad to just keep on speaking without any response. But I understand your scenario. I heard that you are working, so many are in different like scenarios. I mean, situations. So, but from my side, it is very tough because I see that everyone are in mute, no response continuously for an hour, and I just keep on speaking. So, anyways, any questions you can ask me now. Otherwise, we will wind up the session for today. Hello, any questions? Okay, then we'll meet up tomorrow, same time. Take care. Bye.